The podcast game's been going, man. Just overall, I think it's your first spring over there with those guys. How's it been going?
Yeah, it's been good. Slowly working out. Obviously, doing it with Tate, it helps. He's a pretty good co-host, so he's kind of leading the way. I just try and follow and don't get in there. I'll try not to get into any trouble. But yeah, we get a bit sidetracked pretty easily. So thankfully, we have a good team there, ready to pull us back in line. Addy edits it pretty well to make sure we get all the stuff we need to. So it's going good and I'm enjoying it.
Along those lines, just what was it like? Tate asked you last year, knew that Zion was leaving. What was the situation there?
Yeah, it come from the Classic City team. They kind of like put it out. It was after the bowl game, really, when they were trying to sort it out. So yeah, we went out for a dinner with Tate and the Classic City team, I guess, and kind of just talked about it. Obviously, I didn't really have any idea how it worked, like what it was going to require. So went from there, and then yeah, I said, happy to do it. So
give us a recap of how you think the scrimmage went. We heard some really good thoughts about the way you were punting the ball and overall. Also, how did your extra year of eligibility come back? Because I thought there was a moment there where you had to apply for a waiver to be back this year.
Yeah, firstly the scrimmage, I guess, yeah, we got a bit of the cobwebs out, I guess. Obviously, as all first scrimmages go. Everyone's out there getting back into it. It's been 3 months since we last had pads on for the bowl game. So it was good. I guess average, I would say, like my punting. I think, yeah, just doing a job stand. It was good to see more so, I guess, the freshmen and stuff like that coming in and getting their special teams reps. So you get to see early kind of who's standing out and who you might see on punt team later in the year, which is good. Individual performance, I guess, I gotta judge it on if I do my job or not, but obviously there's a lot so that goes into it, whether that be field zones, hang time. So just putting that all together, I think obviously we want to be perfect, so I don't think I was perfect, but I guess that's the standard we try and get to here at Georgia, and I guess it was first scrimmage, we have a few more to work on it, and hopefully we just keep getting better. And yeah, with eligibility, I had to put in a waiver at the end of last year with studying in Melbourne. That's when obviously my Division 1 eligibility started. So I had 2 years of study back then that we then had to put in a waiver to apply for, with COVID also playing a role in that and affecting me being able to get over here and stuff like that. So yeah, they put that in and thankfully they got approved around December, I think last year, around then. So yeah, I have 2 more years, I guess, that were granted, but obviously I got to get through this year and hopefully don't kicked out or walk out the door if I screw up. So.
Yeah, just doing the podcast with Tate, getting to know him a little bit better. What have you learned about him and what he's like as a person?
Tate, I guess you guys see it as well. He's himself. He's a funny guy. It's enjoyable. It makes the podcast fun. Like, we kind of sit there and we just talk. Like, we don't really. There's a script of ideas we go over, but there's no set script that we have to talk about, and we just talk really, and you forget the cameras are there. So that's awesome with Tate. Obviously, he's a great guy. He's funny. You guys see that through the podcast, through the media, anytime you guys talk to him. So yeah, and then I would say it's more transitioned into the building as well. Like, obviously we kind of see each other and now we like have more jokes to talk about because we're talking on the podcast and stuff like that. So yeah, it's pretty funny. I guess we have a good relationship. There's a lot of banter getting thrown around now. So yeah.
Yeah, you've been on the record about some of your teammates with the Australian accent impersonation. I'm curious if you've perfected your impersonation of the Southern American accent.
Really need a little bit of liquid courage to pull that one out, but I wouldn't say I've perfected it. Two of my roommates are Dan Jackson and Gunnar Stockton, so I spend a fair bit of time around it, and I'll casually throw it out there when trying to take the piss out of them. But yeah, I wouldn't say I perfected it, and it's a hard one just to generate. Like, out of nowhere, I can't like try and do it. It'll just be kind of on the fly. I just throw it out there. But no, I'm still working on it, I would say.
And obviously you got to work a lot with Willie and Moat in the past, and now you've been working a lot with Will Snellings. What can you say about him and how he's kind of done in his second year here?
Yeah, awesome. He's had heaps of growth. I guess the transition when he come in early, he hadn't been snapping a long amount of time. He started late. He was a linebacker in high school that he had offers for to be a linebacker. So he picked up snapping. He got his offer here. He come in. He learned off Moat. Moat obviously took him under his wing a bit and showed him the ropes. So, but he's been awesome this year. Like, I can't really compliment him enough the way he's come back and he's worked his ass off to get to that level that hopefully we could see him starting at. He's been taking a lot of reps, obviously, because the freshman doesn't get here and the transfer doesn't get here until the fall, I guess, fall camp. So he's been taking a heap of reps with Wash, and obviously you see the progress every day, and he's getting more and more comfortable, which is good to see. His confidence is pretty good right now, so that also helps me being back there, knowing the ball's coming back in a good spot.
I want to ask you about Peyton Woodring, because I guess you guys have been the top specialists. What's your relationship with him like, and what kind of person is he, and how did you see his first year going into his second now?
Yeah, awesome kid. We're super close. He lives with Will and a few of the other boys that come in with him, but we spend a fair bit of time together now. Obviously, we have a lot of meeting time just to hang out and really kind of, I guess, muck around a bit. Obviously, in the spring ball, we don't have much to meet about because we're not preparing for game plans. So I'm trying not to swear. I was about to say there's a fair bit of shit talks, but yeah, it's pretty good. And as far as kicking goes, he's awesome. He's you saw obviously he missed those few early. Copped a bit of criticism for it, and then he come back and I think he kicked I don't know how many straight, but didn't miss one for a long time until later in the season. So you saw what he overcome, and now obviously he's just going about his business, working hard. We come back, we obviously get all the cobwebs out after the break, and he's been kicking well. I don't want to jinx him, but he hasn't missed one in practice for a little while, so yeah, I don't want to jinx him. A little bit of a curse there, so if he misses one today, I'll probably have to apologise to him. But yeah, he's awesome. We've spent a heap of time together, and he's looking forward to see what he can do this year.
Yeah, you mentioned Gunnar Stockton as a roommate. One, what is he like as a roommate? And two, just as a person, as a teammate, what have you learned about him since living with him?
Yeah, he's funny. He when we first moved in, when I had to go into the dorms, he was on the other side of the hole, so we got a relationship pretty soon. Thankfully enough, I got to do Christmas with his family as well. That was the family I got to go do Christmas with. So the Stocktons are awesome, and Gunnar himself, I guess, he's funny. He comes across pretty quiet, very, very humble as a person. I think anyone on the team would say if they're going to let their sister date someone, they'd probably choose Gunnar. So he's just as humble as you get, and it's been good seeing him, obviously, the reps with Brock transferring out, so his reps go up, which has been good to see. He's out there slinging it. So yeah, he's a good dude. I'm sure you guys will get to know him a lot more coming in the future.
Brett, 2 questions. What was Christmas with the Stocktons like? And then 2, people see you as someone who could be up for the Ray Guy Award, the top punter in the country. Do you pay attention to anything like that? Do you set goals, individual goals like that for yourself going into the season?
Yeah, firstly, Christmas with the Stocktons, it was cold. It was freezing cold. I've never had a cold Christmas, so it was my first cold Christmas, unfortunately. The lake was frozen, but it was very southern, I guess, as you could imagine, up at Lake Burton. So it was good. Obviously, their family's awesome. Got to meet all their extended family as well, so it was really cool. But yeah, very, I guess, family, wholesome kind of Christmas. Stay inside, everyone wears their pajamas, there's heaps of gifts. Mama Stockton, obviously, spoils the kids. She makes sure they're well looked after on Christmas, which is good to see. And then obviously just having I guess Stockton tradition meals. She did a breakfast casserole, which is eggs, bread and sausage all mixed up in a casserole dish. And then Graham as well cooked a few good meals. So yeah, that was good. And number 2, I think, not really. It's not something I actively go out and look into. I think right now the season is still 5-6 months away. So definitely not thinking about that or individual accolades. I've got to focus, I guess, on spring ball. We have 4 more practices, another scrimmage and G-Day. So that's my focus. And then I know in May I get to go back to Australia and work more on my punting with the pro kick coaches back home for the month of May. So that's what I guess I'm focusing on right now, being the best possible punter I can be and the most consistent I can be. Consistency is probably the number one thing. And yeah, I guess the rest of the stuff comes with being a good punter, not necessarily aiming for those things. So I'll just go about my business right now, and I don't even know if we punt enough to be eligible for it, or get close. So yeah, it's definitely not something I think about.
Actually, you touched on something I was going to ask you. Kind of what's the mindset of your position? Always want to be prepared, but if the offense is clicking, you don't get to play. So, and I know you've made a little light of that on social media in the past, but just talk about the mindset of your position, wanting to be the best you can and be prepared, but you really wanting the offense to go out there and click.
Yeah, definitely. I guess it's the best of a worst situation. Like, if you don't see me, everybody's happy. Every Georgia fan's happy. I have a fair few people telling me now when I do the dog walk they don't want to see me on the current day. So that's quite funny to get, I guess, banter, I hope. But yeah, obviously I'm still ready every offensive possession. Like, I go warm up. I guess I have a set-ish routine of what time to go over, warm up, be ready, and then we catch snaps until hopefully a third down comes, and then we wait and see what the verdict is. But thankfully we also have a good third down team. I guess one of the highest percentages stats-wise last year, so there are a lot of kind of walks to the sidelines and turn around and walk back to the sideline and catch a few more snaps until we're out of punt range, I guess. So I wouldn't want it any other way, definitely. Obviously, I joke about it a fair bit, but I'm very happy watching the offense roll down and score some points rather than send me trot out there and try and kick a ball.
We've got time for two more, so Palmer and then Anthony, and then we're done.
Coach Benedict named special teams coordinator in February. Just from a specialist point of view, what does that job entail, and how's he been doing in that role?
Yeah, so far so good. Obviously, it's special teams, so there's a lot of coaches involved. Everyone kind of contributes. Every coach has their part. Punt-wise, I was recruited by Coach Hartley, I guess. So I work pretty closely with him as well in the punting, I guess, play calling and stuff. But yeah, special teams, I guess, obviously with the title goes to him, but it's a big contribution of a lot of coaches. Coach Smart obviously has a big role in that and helps out a lot. So yeah, it's kind of a big group that helps out and stuff like that. So.
Brett, I was wondering, of all the time you spent with the Stockton, did Gunner's dad Rob ever kind of go on about how great a player he was at safety back in his play?
Yeah, pretty much every time. He likes to bring that up. I think I've heard the same story about certain picks or certain injuries that he fought through every time I've been up there. So no, I'll happily throw him under the bus there. He does often like to tell us what he got up to in his playing days and how good he used to be. So yeah, it was good.
Thank you, Brett.
Thanks, Brett.
Cheers.